While Arthur sat by my bed, pretending to dream about our vacation, Damien was working. He lured Amber to the outbuildings. He didn't knock her out, too risky. He just threw a bag over her head, tied her hands, and lowered her into the dry cellar by the old barn. Then he took the ladder away. He gathered Amber's phone and things in a rush, making it look like she'd run away. I kept my husband busy for almost an hour with talk about the vacation, about the beaches, about fresh squeezed juices. He listened with the look of a man who didn't care but was politely pretending. After half an hour, his patience snapped. I need to send an email. For work. There's no internet here. I'll drive about 20 miles out, catch a signal. I nearly stopped breathing. Only half an hour had passed. Damien wasn't finished yet. Arthur was already reaching for the door handle, and then came a soft knock. "Can we speak in private?" Damien said, glancing my way. Arthur stepped out. I sank back into the pillows, closed my eyes. He made it in time. Damien came by in the evening. He set down a dinner tray. Saturday beside me. He didn't ask how I felt. He went straight to the point. "Arthur ordered me to double the dose," he said evenly. He showed me a small vial. "According to his math, you are supposed to die tonight." I was silent for a moment. Then I said, "It's actually for the best. You aren't going to fight it?" This is where we were headed. I'll play dead. You lead Arthur to my body. He'll think he won. He'll relax. And a relaxed man makes mistakes. Most importantly, release Amber that same night. Then come right back. Can you pull off playing a corpse? I need gray eyeshadow, foundation, and wet hair. I can handle it. He looked at me for a long time. Then he spoke with something like a smirk. I'm starting to enjoy this. Me too, I admitted honestly. I went to the bathroom and began to prepare. Foundation, 2 shades lighter than usual. I apply it thick, my face turns almost gray. Cosmetic clay mixed with water on my lips. I wait for it to dry and crack. Matte gray shadow on both lids. Just a touch. Blend it out. I powder everything down. A tired, hollow, lifeless woman stared back from the mirror. I soaked my hair. Soaked my nightgown. I went back to the room and trashed the bedding. Crumpled it, flipped it, splashed a bottle of water across the sheets. I fell onto the bed, got comfortable, closed my eyes, left my mouth slightly open. Arthur shouldn't doubt it for a single second. While I waited, I thought of one thing. He never once came in to say goodbye, never once held my hand. He just issued instructions. Fine, now it's my turn. I hear footsteps. I expected Damien, but Arthur walked in. "Damien," he shouts into the hallway. "In here now, I need your help." I didn't move. My heart was thumping so hard I thought he'd hear it. Heavy steps. Damien arrived. "What happened here?" "I don't know. Go, check her." Damien's hand rested on my neck, slid across my skin. He was feeling for a pulse. "She's not breathing. Are you sure?" "Positive. I want to check myself." "Don't. You shouldn't see her this close. I'm afraid it's very serious." A pause. Silence. "So what do we do with her now?" "We need to call an ambulance. And the police." "Are you crazy?" Arthur hissed. "You want to go to jail? You were the one giving her the pills. This is your fault, not mine. Not mine, you understand." There he was, the real Arthur. His wife wasn't even cold yet, and he was already looking for someone to take the fall. When they both left to pick a spot for the burial, I got up. I had to get to the hangar. Damien had explained beforehand how to shut down the generators. Arthur knows zero about mechanics. He wouldn't figure it out. He'd send the guard. I stepped outside. The night air hit my face, cold, damp, the moon. Crickets in the trees. 1 generator. 2. 3. The lights in the house went out. The gate lock runs on solar batteries. The darkness won't stop it. You still can't get out. But now, the house was silent and pitch black. I went back. The plan was to hide in Damien's room, but after an hour, I couldn't take it. I stepped quietly into the hallway, stood in a dark corner by the stairs, and then the front door slammed. "Damien, what's with the power?" Arthur's voice. "Alone, in the dark, panicked. Now, the real fun begins." Damien walked past. He gave a barely audible double tap on the wall. Our signal. I pulled out my phone. Damien had managed to charge it earlier. I hit play. I tucked it into the ventilation duct. "Arthur." My voice drifted from the darkness, distorted by static. "Why didn't you come in? I'm so cold." Below, dead silence. "Who's there?" Arthur's voice was trembling. "This isn't funny." I poured a glass of water onto the parquet at the edge of the stairs. I began to descend slowly. Slap, slap. Wet feet on wood. "You picked a spot in the garden," the phone whispered again. "But I don't want to be in the dirt. Arthur, I want to go home." "Shut up." He was backing away, his voice breaking. I stepped into the moonlight, wet hair, white nightgown, face blue from the shadows. "It can't be," he exhaled. Get away from me." At that moment, the front door flew open. "Arthur!" A shrill scream tore through the silence. "You bastard! You sick psycho!" Amber, disheveled, dirty, face twisted, phone in her hand. Arthur froze. He looked at her, living, real. Then he turned his gaze to me, living, breathing. Something clicked in his eyes. The mysticism vanished. All that was left was a man who'd been played. "So you," he breathed. His voice turned terrifyingly low. "You were just mocking me?" "I recorded everything," Amber said, holding up the phone. "How you were going to blame your wife's death on Damien, how you wanted to bury her in the garden." "Give me the phone," Arthur said quietly. "Yeah, right." He lunged at her, fast. Damien intercepted him, but Arthur broke free. He slammed an elbow into Damien's chest, bolted toward the kitchen. "Knife!" Amber screamed. "He's got a knife!" A cold blade pressed against my neck. The hand on my shoulder was like iron. I didn't move. "Everyone back, or I'll gut her right now." Damien froze. Amber pressed against the wall. "Arthur," Damien said softly, "don't do anything stupid." "Too late. You thought you could humiliate me? Make a fool out of me?" "The gate code," he hissed in my ear. "Tell me, now. Even if I tell you, you aren't leaving." I whispered. "Why?" "The cars won't start. I took the batteries out. All of them." A pause. Long. Terrifying. "You bitch," he muttered. It wasn't the voice of my husband anymore. "You bitch." The knife pressed harder. Then, Amber hurled a metal decorative lantern at him. It hit his arm. The knife flew out. I dove down and broke free. Damien tackled him. But Arthur scrambled away and scrambled for the door. He burst outside. "He's running for the lake," Amber shouted. "Madison, stay here." "Not a chance," I replied. The night air, cold, damp. I ran. My chest burned. My legs barely obeyed, but I ran. Arthur was flying down the path toward the old pier. The ground was slick, moonlight on the water. He thought a boat would save him. "Arthur!" Damien shouted behind me. "Stop! Go to hell!" And then, the crack of wood. A heavy splash. I stopped. Silence. Only the water. "He's in the lake!" Amber gasped behind me. We ran up. An old plank snapped under my foot. Arthur was thrashing in the black, ice-cold April water, clutching the edge of the pier with blue fingers. "Help! Damien, pull me out!" Damien dropped to one knee at the edge. He reached over and grabbed Arthur by the collar. "Damien, let him go." My scream cut the silence. Damien turned. He looked at me. "Leave him. He isn't worth your effort." Arthur was choking. There was terror in his eyes. He looked at me and realized I was ready to watch him drown. But Damien didn't let go. With one heave, he hauled him out of the water. Like a rag doll, Arthur collapsed onto the boards. The cold click of plastic zip ties. "Did you hear her?" Damien said quietly. "She said you weren't worth it. I agree with her. I'll destroy you all," Arthur shrieked. "Not anymore," I said. Amber held up the phone with shaking hands. It recorded everything, absolutely everything. Arthur looked at me, and for the first time, not with rage, with understanding, he had lost. In the distance, the wail of a siren began. "The police are coming," Damien said calmly. "I started the backup generator an hour ago, and I called them." I stared at him. "What? Did you think I'd leave everything to chance?" A smirk flashed in his dark eyes. "Rare, genuine." Arthur lurched. "Number. Madison, I wasn't myself. Amber got in my head. I'll make it right. You poisoned me for a month," he faltered. I was scared. Debts. Problems, I thought. That I'd die conveniently? Quietly? No scandal? So you could keep everything? He looked down. The siren grew louder. Blue flashes behind the trees. "Do you know what the worst part is for you? It's not prison. It's that you did all this for nothing. I'm alive. I'm free. And you've lost absolutely everything." Damien silently draped his jacket over my shoulders. Arthur saw the gesture. And finally, he understood, completely. The night stretched on forever. Questions, reports, pills in the investigator's evidence bag. The recording from Amber's phone. A recording from Damien's digital recorder. The one where Arthur blamed my death on the guard. I hadn't expected that. While I was playing dead, he was covering both our backs. Amber was questioned separately for a long time. When she came out, nothing was left of the redhead mistress of a wealthy man. Just a woman who realized how close she'd come to the abyss. "I thought he was going to divorce you," she told me quietly. "I really didn't know he was like that." "Now you know," was all I said. "I'll give the investigator his messages." He asked me to put some money in my name. I thought to hide it from the IRS. One last surprise. Arthur had been stealing. Methodically. While I was sick, the investigator said dryly, "We have more than enough grounds." For the first time, I truly believed it. He wasn't getting out of this. At the hospital, what I suspected was confirmed. There was no illness, just prolonged medicinal intoxication. I had been systematically poisoned for nearly a month. The doctor said it, clinically, evenly, like a weather forecast. I wanted to laugh and cry at the same time. I wasn't falling apart. I wasn't losing my mind. I wasn't aging prematurely. I was just being killed, slowly, calculatedly. And then my father's papers appeared. An old lawyer read the special provision. In case of a threat to life, all of the husband's powers of attorney are annulled, automatically, from the moment a criminal case is opened. He gets nothing? I asked again. Worse, he is obligated to return everything he managed to siphon off, with interest. I leaned back in the chair, and I laughed. Quietly, almost happily. He destroyed it all himself, with his own hands, with his greed, with his certainty that he'd walk away clean again. I couldn't have dreamed of a better revenge. The sentence was read on a Friday. I wore a white coat, dark trousers, flat shoes, no jewelry except a thin chain. Arthur entered the courtroom a different man. Haggard, gray, a prison suit 3 sizes too big. Not a trace of self-confidence left. 5 years, real time, full restitution. In the aisle of the courtroom, under guard, he stopped near me. "Madison, I wasn't myself. I'll fix everything. You poisoned me for a month. There were debts, problems. I got scared. Do you know what the worst part is for you? It's not the sentence. It's that you did all this for nothing. I'm alive, Free, and you've lost everything. The guard touched his shoulder. He turned back, and he saw Damien silently draping my coat over my shoulders. That gesture said more to him than any words could. That was when he understood. Finally and irrevocably, we stepped outside. It was April. Not the kind of April that smells like wet snow and hopelessness, a different kind, the kind where the air is crisp and clear, like cold spring water. I stopped on the steps and tilted my head toward the sky. I inhaled. Deeply. All the way. Do you know what I'm thinking? I asked. I'm afraid to guess. I'm thinking that in his cell, he probably doesn't have a window with a decent view. He'll sit there and remember. He could have just let me go, like a human being, lived his life, but he couldn't. Too greedy, too cowardly. That's the best punishment, Damien said softly. Not prison, the realization. He took my hand. Just took it, without words, and we walked. Under the April sun, along the dry sidewalk, away from the courthouse. Away from the past. Somewhere far away, Arthur was receiving his first prison meal. But I walked on, and I thought about how this year's spring is special, because I lived to see it, and because it is only the beginning.